Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new video, and today we're going to be talking about the 2020 election if Donald Trump's rhetoric was a lot more moderate. Now, what do I mean by that is that he just took COVID a lot more seriously. Well, I think he took it seriously, I just think he said the wrong things. Wasn't as divisive as, he didn't speak so divisively. Like, he can still be strong, he can still be himself, but he just has to, not be as divisive on a lot of issues. He would... Because, his policy, nothing, I wouldn't change a thing about his policy, it's just how the way he spoke. He would have to say, yeah, wear your masks. I don't think he would, either way, I don't think he would say we need to lock down or anything. Just wear your mask. I think he would still do the whole law and order thing, but he would actually, he wouldn't attack Democrat cities, and he would actually, help Democrat cities, say he is willing to help out Democrat cities that were in peril. Be a lot more public about that. Just have a lot more moderate rhetoric. So let's start filling out this map. As you can see, I have 132 safe electoral votes. The two Republican races that I changed from likely to safe would be Iowa and Nebraska in Maine's 2nd district. Those two would go from likely to safe. In this instance, as we take out a couple safe Biden states and turn them to whatever. First, let's start off with the likely Republican states. First off, we have Texas. Donald Trump would probably end up winning the state by 7 or 8. It would still trend to the left, but not as much as it did in 2020. I think with him having a lot more rhetoric. A bunch of the Republicans that didn't like him before because of his mouth would come out to vote for him again. It's actually, I think a lot of the third-party Johnson vote would actually turn out for him this time around. A lot more than they did beforehand. Ohio, definitely, he won it by 8 points. I think he wins it by 9 this time around. Not a big increase, but still not a small increase either. But still an increase nonetheless. And those are the two Republican states. The two Biden states, first off, Oregon, I think he wins it by 9 points. He won it by 16 this time around. That has to do with turnout, which you're saying, okay, how does Biden go from 16 to 9? Donald Trump ended up losing the state in 2016 by 10 points, and I think a lot of that third-party vote would actually break for Donald Trump this time around, as they didn't vote for Clinton because she's corrupt, and there's hardly a difference between Clinton and Biden, except the cognitive issues. So, and I think a lot of that Green Party vote that was in Oregon would turn out for Trump. I think it would break 55 to 45 for Donald Trump, which would, along with the Libertarian vote, which would break for Trump as well, which would make Oregon a 9-point victory for Joe Biden. Next up is New Mexico. I think Donald Trump actually improves here by quite a bit, probably winning it by 7, or losing by 7 points. He would do a lot better with the Latino vote, as many Latinos still felt as if Donald Trump wasn't doing a good job with the immigration issue, or just thought he was still a racist because Democrats were spouting that nonsense even though he did nothing racist his entire presidency. But, oh well. Or at least I don't think he did anything racist, but that's just me. Next up, New Mexico. I still think Joe Biden wins it by a likely margin. Not 9 points, probably anywhere between 5 and 6 points, definitely. As New Hampshire has a tendency to trend really, really far to the opposite of the incumbent party. It just hates incumbents. Like how Florida loves incumbents, New Hampshire is the opposite. And I think, oh yeah, Minnesota. Minnesota went to Joe Biden by 7 or 8 points. I think it'll go 5 points this time. The Twin Cities will still turn out for Joe Biden no matter what. There's nothing that Trump could have done in the state of Minnesota. Man, I can't believe everybody was saying Trump should target Minnesota. And was the Twin City turnout just low or something? Can someone explain that to me? Like, was it really low in 2016? Which I wouldn't surprise me because both candidates weren't that great. Trump got a lot. Trump 2020 is a lot better. Was a lot better because he had more name recognition, I guess you could say, than Trump 2016. Time for the lean Republican states. Arizona would be lean. Donald Trump won it by 2 points. I think he wins it by 1%, like 1.3%, which is still categorized as lean. That's how I categorize it. It would be a major shift to the left, as it would almost be a tilt state. Though I think if he was a lot more moderate and didn't attack John McCain as much as he did, he definitely went over the Arizona Republican base that just hated him. Probably wins Maricopa County as well. Also, Florida, he probably wins it by 4 points this time, almost a likely margin. I don't think it's close enough. I think the turnout in the Miami-Dade area down here, and maybe in Charlie Crist's district as well, could like push Biden, could push it where out of the likely column into the lean column, even with the turnout. And Donald Trump absolutely would flip a couple more House seats. We probably see Oregon's 4th district flip. Martha McSally might have won in Arizona. Don't hold me to that. I think, if anything, Kelly probably wins by 2 points at the most. Mark Ventredi probably would have made this race, the New Mexico Senate race, closer, but wouldn't win it. Next up, we have the North Carolina would have done Donald Trump by 2 to 3 points. Black turnout was very low in North Carolina. They weren't turning out for Joe Biden. The major black areas here and in this area over here just weren't turning out for Joe Biden. And I think Donald Trump would do a lot better in the suburbs this time around. Just hands down does better in the suburbs, as he's more moderate on the issue, and Democrats wouldn't be able to attack him as much on the COVID issue, as he would actually have a better rhetoric, meaning Democrats would be more open to working with him. And he probably wouldn't say stuff like, go vote twice in the state of North Carolina. Why he said that, I don't know. Why'd he say that? That's awful. When I was working the polls, actually I can't reveal that, never mind. I don't think I can. I'm not going to, just in case. I don't think I'm allowed to talk about what happened in there. Next up, Wisconsin. I think Donald Trump wins it by 1%. I think he does. I think Wisconsin would have trended to the right this election cycle, as he does better in the suburbs and probably with the working class. Though the working class might still reject him because of the COVID situation and the economy. Though, let's say it's still work. Let's say if Democrats are now starting to work with him on the COVID issue, since he has a more moderate rhetoric, then we might not be in such a bad situation. As, remember, his approval rating was up 49% when COVID started, because there was some Democrats actually saying he's doing a good job. And if he were to continue this, let's say he has an approval rating of 51% at the most. So let's just say that if his approval rating stayed between 51 and 49%, he would have won this election. And possibly the popular vote, which I'm not going to claim he's going to do in this scenario. Nebraska 2nd also goes lean Republican, because Nebraska 2nd voted for Don Bacon, and I think he won by 3%. So Donald Trump I expect to win by 1 to 2% after Joe Biden had won by 6%, as they want a more moderate rhetoric candidate, which is why it overwhelmingly voted for Joe Biden, or that's my opinion anyway. So I think Trump would have narrowly carried this 2nd district of Nebraska. And I think that is all the lean Republican states. Now let's talk about the lean Democrat states, which we only have one, being Maine at large. I think Joe Biden, I think it wins by 3 to 4. I think he proves on Clinton's numbers, absolutely, but still not enough to put in the likely category. Again, Trump's rhetoric, I think he'd be a lot more popular in Maine, because Maine loves free thinkers. They do, but they also like people who have a moderate rhetoric. So I think if Donald Trump had a moderate rhetoric with his free-thinking, independent style of policy, I think he'd do really great in Maine, but I don't have enough proof to say that he would actually flip the state in this scenario. So there you go. That's just something to think about. So these 4 states would be the tilt states, and I'm going to fill them out based on how close they are and all that. The first state that I'm going to go up is going to be Georgia. I think Donald Trump wins the state by 0.8%, which this gives him the election, of course, as he only needed to win one Rust Belt state in order to win this election, and he failed to win any of the 3. Well, he needed to win every single state he did in 2016, as well as one Rust Belt state, but we know how that worked out. He wins it, which this gives him an election, by the way, which I think, again, he'd do better in the suburbs. Atlanta turnout might still be very high, because this is a high turnout election. And if he does well on the racial injustice issue and actually has a good right response, which comes with the moderate rhetoric, he does better in the Atlanta suburbs, which he's still going to retract or detract. You know what I mean? It's still going to trend to the left in this election, but not as much as it did, as it is in our timeline. Next state, Pennsylvania. I think Donald Trump wins it by 0.6%. Does very well. He probably doesn't do well in Scranton, but he probably does well. I think Erie County. I think that's Erie County. I think he improves his margins in Erie County. I could be wrong. Oh, please don't let me be naming that county wrong. I'll look so stupid, but I'll look stupid anyway. Yeah, and I think he boosts up the numbers and rules too. I think rural numbers in every single state will be higher because of this, as I think some rural Republicans didn't want to vote. I think rural turnout could have been a lot higher. Rural turnout in my county was 80%, or just turnout in my county in general was 80%, which was an all-time high. So that tells you something. And it overwhelmingly went to Donald Trump. So I don't want to hear you, oh, I'm a fraud, I'm a Democrat fraud. No, it overwhelmingly went to Donald Trump, so I don't want to hear it. Also, I live in a county Donald Trump overperformed Mitt Romney in, and I live in a neocon majority county. So I don't know how that works, but it does. Next up, I think Michigan. I think Donald Trump wins the state of Michigan by 0.4%, so he does improve in the Rust Belt. I think he does keep the Rust Belt in this scenario. Which you guys are gonna laugh at. You guys are gonna laugh at the result after I fill in Nevada, but I think again, like Donald Trump probably improves on John James's number, and John James actually outperformed Donald Trump in the state of Michigan, probably because, again, his rhetoric was a lot more moderate, which is what I liked about John James, and then he said the election was rigged. Thank God he walked back on that. Thank God he found common sense, but, again, he still said it, which probably ends his political career, unless redistricting causes his district to be a little more Republican favorable and he runs against Haley Stevens, if that's who is in the Michigan 11th congressperson. I know it's a woman, but I just don't know her name. I think it's Haley Stevens. I could be wrong. So, there you go. In the final state, I think Joe Biden wins it. Yes, I don't think Donald Trump would improve enough in Nevada to win it. He definitely does improve with Latinos, improves in Washoe. I think he might barely win the Washoe, but I think the Clark County turnout is just too much. 70% of the state. Biden wins it by 0.3, 0.2%, similar to what the Georgia numbers were, but it still wouldn't be enough for Donald Trump to flip it. And guess what? There were no flips in this election if Trump's moderate was moderate. Yeah, I can't speak. I still expect Joe Biden to win the popular vote, not by 5. He probably wins it by 2, probably similar to what Hillary Clinton won it by. Pretty much a repeat from 4 years prior. 306 to 232. This is how I see it. Call me crazy, but I'm sorry. I don't know what to do for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. So yeah, so if Trump had a moderate rhetoric, he does better in the suburbs, rural turnout would be higher, he does better with Latinos, as some people still thought he was a racist. He probably does better with white working class voters, and probably white suburban women, since his rhetoric moderate might lead to Democrats wanting to work with him more, possibly, don't hold me to that. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to follow my Twitter, @ChaoticPolitics. This is the Chaotic One saying, peace.